Shalom Aleichem. Thank everyone for coming today. We're going to continue on with the Basarah of Yeshua. We're going to continue till we exhaust these 3 chapters. So once in a while, we'll go to something else that empowers what Yeshua is teaching. But we're going to stay where we was, Yeshua, with the 5th chapter of Matthew. And Yeshua just got through teaching us concerning adultery, marriage, and divorce. Okay, and it was a good teaching. We could have went even more deeper, but we're going to stay very elemental. Okay, so that we can ingest this, level by level. Okay, it's much more in there that I wanted to get to, but I made a commitment to try to stay as elemental as I possibly can to get the elementals of the doctrine of Yeshua within us, and then we can eventually take it to a higher level of understanding and appropriation. Okay, but we do understand that Yeshua and said that a woman who is in a marriage, or a man who is in a marriage, okay, and except for the cause of adultery, the marriage is covenant, and that's why we should look upon a marriage as a covenant. This covenant should not be broken. But if in that marriage adultery is committed, then it says that that naf, or adulterate, the haloka, that acquire her, ota, her, yinaf, he adulterate. Okay, meaning that if a person adulterate and you are in consent of that adulteration, then you acquire this person, understanding the adulteration that is present, then you yourself adulterate with her. Okay. So we're not going to take it no farther than that, but we also went to Kaifa last week talking about, how to keep a marriage working, and it gave us the characteristics of Sarah, and how she related and kept her covenant with Abraham, quiet in the meek spirit, and that by her righteous deeds she were able to influence her husband. Okay, not the blabbering of the mouth, the nagging, or the social science concerning marriage that we have from the goyim, from the carnal minded. You can't take the word and mix it with the social science of the day and think you're going to come out with success. It's not going to work. But we concluded those teachings, and now we're moving on to what I look upon as teachings related to faithfulness. This is something that is a great problem in my time of ministry, the lack of faithfulness. Okay, and so we start here with Matthew 35, and I might go to Matthew 36 too, or 33, and I might go to Matthew 34, where Yeshua continued. He said, Od shematim ma shenomar le kedemunim lo tesh bachol b'shemi li shekar ve teshiv li Yahuwah sheboateka. Okay, sheboateka. All right, and here he says, continue you hearing what they are saying, that to the eastern ones, towards the eastern ones. We already dealt with that subject of Kedemunim, Eastern ones, those of heavenly quality, or those that was in reception to the effluence of divine nature, obedience to the will of Yahweh. Lo, tish bahol, not you make a vow or a pledge. Beshemi, in my name, li shakat, to falsehood. Okay. A false vow. This is what he's teaching against. Not making just a vow, but a vow to falsehood. Okay. You know how we do it. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I promise you. That's a vow. When you say, I promise, we're going to get this done. And then when it's time to inspect whether or not you fulfilled your vow, it's not done. Then we got the excuses. You know, truck ran over my toe. You know, we've been through it. We know, well, yeah, I don't have to. You know, the excuses. That's a lack of faithfulness. Okay. It's a lack of faithfulness. Okay, and this is what the vow and the pledge and the instructions concerning vow and pledges was about. To be faithful in your word. Okay? To be faithful in your promises. You know, be faithful as Yahweh is faithful. See, we talk about the faithfulness of Yahweh, but the faithfulness of Yahweh, this characteristic, we should assume ourselves. As he is, so are we in this world. It's not a poetry. It is an instruction that we should actualize into reality. As he is in his glory, in his quality, and his character, so are we in this world, or we should be. We should be faithful, okay, to fulfill the word. See, my thing is this. If you're not faithful to fulfill your own word and promises, I can guarantee you, you're not going to be faithful to fulfill the word and the instruction of Yahweh. Honestly, that's why he says, Veshemi, in my name, li shikar, to falsehood, to error, to deceit, to lies. Okay? Vete shiva, for you answer li Yahuwah, to Yahuwah, sheboateka, which you have vowed. See, we need to become conscious of this. When we make promises to Yahweh that we're going to study, that we're going to live a life of prayer, okay, that we're going to live a life of tzedakah, that we are living to fulfill your will, but yet we turn our lives over to the social science of this world, okay, and minimize our relationship and our duty towards Yahweh to just going to church or going to a synagogue or going to Seder and just paying tithes. Not considering that we were called to righteousness. And when you say that you have received the spirit of Mashiach and you enter into the new covenant instruction, I will put my Torah in your mind and write it in your heart. Okay? This is a process of development. Okay? That we have made a covenant to Yahweh to fulfill. Okay? That means that you have to give up the philosophy and the religious ideology of this world and seek Yahweh line upon line, precept upon precept. Seek ye in the book and read. Cut off NBC. Cut off ABC. Cut off the doctor this one and doctor that one. Because social science is a theory. But the instructions of Yahweh are truth. And Yahweh has called us to develop within ourselves divine character, the fruits of the Spirit, the characteristics of the Spirit that is from Yahuwah. Not from Barack Obama. Not from Dr. So-and-so. Not from Reverend so-and-so. Okay? And we need to understand this. That when you make a vow in his name, okay, Beshemi, and appropriate it to error, okay, to falsehood, to those things related merely to the flesh, which is error, okay? Because it says that the carnal mind is at enmity with the law of Yahuwah, with the law of Elohim. There is no covenant made with the carnal man to fulfill the carnal characteristics of the carnal man. The covenant is made to you to put to death. See, that's the covenant. To put to death, you can't have the law written in your mind and in your heart, the central promise of the new covenant, if you're walking according to the social science of the world. You made a covenant with Elohim, but you appropriate the knowledge, the wisdom of the carnal mind, which is at enmity with the Torah of Yahweh. See, conversion is a progressive thing. We have to get out of this instantaneous salvation mentality. You know, say this prayer, you say, without a firm definition of what salvation is. Okay, it's not a moment, it is a progressive development through the life of self-denial. Not. Okay, appropriating that not, that negation of a characteristic that brings forth unfaithfulness towards Elohim and man. Okay? But it says, not you make in my name, not you make a vow or a pledge or a promise in my name, and then carry out it to a falsehood. And then when you are confronted with the lack of fulfillment, here you come with one of those excuses. Or pointing the finger at the person that you promised to. Well, I didn't do it because you. I didn't do it because you. Or blaming somebody else. That's how this culture works. Shoot a kid, now it's the kid's fault that you shot him. You know, well, he smoked weed. What that got to do with you shooting him? You see? And this is the pattern of cognitive reaction in this society of antagonism and hatred. Blame the victim for your criminal acts. Blame the victim for your unfaithfulness. Blame the victim for your deceit. Blame the victim for your manipulation. Blame the failure of progress on everybody but your own unfaithfulness. See? When we should look, if we are sincere in fulfilling the righteousness of the Torah, we would look at our unfaithfulness as hamatia, as kata, as sin, a behavior that is beneath, under the law, that is beneath the standard of the righteousness of Torah. It's not acceptable. Okay? And when you do this, it says, li shekar vete shi, for you answer to Yahweh. You don't answer to this society. They don't care about your unfaithfulness. They support it. They support unfaithful behavior. Thou shalt not murder. So we make a law that allows you to murder and get away with it. You know, They contradict and is at enmity with the Torah, the instruction of the mitzvot, of the commandments. And we're so dull in the mind that we just sit there and say, oh, well, okay, that's the law. We're a law-abiding people. Well, even if the law contradicts Yahweh's law, you know, we're not going to do anything but get mad. Instead of organize and build a power base that demands that the righteousness of Torah be respected. Okay? Power. This is what people respond to, not words. Power. Okay? And I know the resistance to organizing. Okay? Because many of you here know the efforts I have made to organize. And to say that we need to exalt the standard of his righteousness, which has failed. Okay? It has failed. Why? Unfaithfulness. Unfaithfulness to the covenant. Unfaithfulness to the righteous standard of Torah. Okay? So, you know, we are without excuse. Oh man. You who talk about the Torah, but yet do not live or seek to conquer those characteristics within yourself that is at enmity with the righteous standard of Torah. So we create a doctrine that says, well, we're saved by grace, not by works. We don't finish that statement. We're not saved by the works of the flesh. Now go to Galatians and find out what the works of the flesh are. We're not saved by the works of the characteristics of the carnal mind. We're not saved by the works of ritualism. Okay? But we are commanded to produce good works that has been ordained and prepared for us from the foundation of the world. This is why he gives us his spirit. He that has not the spirit of Mashiach is none of his. I'm not talking about a spirit that make you jump and yell and scream and get emotional and quote scriptures. I'm talking about a spirit that reveals truth and appropriate power to shalim HaTorah in your life, to make whole. He said, shalim means to finish, to make whole. He said, I didn't come to abolish the law. I didn't come to the power to move the law out the way, but to shalim, to make it whole. Okay? To cause it to rise up. Okay? To finish it. To finish the ultimate effects. To bring it to its ultimate effect. Which in Yeshua was resurrection unto glorification. This is why Paul was seeking. He said, look, man, everything that I gained in the flesh, I count as dung, that I might attain the excellency of the knowledge of Yeshua HaMashiach Adoni, my Lord, who gave himself for me, okay, that I might know him in the power of his resurrection, the fellowship of his suffering, the conformity of his death, that by any means I may attain the out-resurrection from among the dead. Because if you have died with him, then you shall be raised with him. This is what the scriptures teach. Okay. That when you appropriate faithfulness to the righteous standards of Yahuwah, there will be produced a resurrection within you, a raising from unrighteousness to righteousness, a raising from ignorance and antagonism to love, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, which produces shalom, peace. Okay? But I know how we've been acculturated. We're faithful to the system. But in many cases, the word is just a book we talk about and not appropriate to the reality of salvation that is promised to us through the new covenant, the Brit Kadash. Okay. We are being conformed to a religion that says we have been given a grace of righteousness that don't produce righteousness. Okay, we're not saved by works, but justification or faith, emunah without works is dead. So you have to take these and you have to really investigate what is being taught in the covenant, what is being taught by the apostles, because it's been highly manipulated to make you feel at ease in a carnal condition that clothes itself with a poetic religion. All right? So Yeshua is teaching that whatever you vow in my name and you produce from that vow, that pledge, error, it's not acceptable. This is what was taught to the Kedemunim. It's not acceptable. Okay? Don't do it. All right? For you answer to Yahweh, which you have vowed. See, Yahweh reacts to faithfulness. He rejects unfaithfulness. Okay? And as this teaching proceeds on, you'll see how Yeshua even enlightens it more, because it goes into faithfulness and also the sovereignty of Elohim and your lack of sovereignty over the things of Elohim unless he gives it to you. And he will give us sovereignty to some degree. He gave Adam dominion, Rada, sovereignty, dominion over the earth. All right? But the supreme sovereignty of authority and power is in Yahuwah. And when you are unfaithful to your promises, when you are unfaithful to your pledges, okay, which most of us who are conditioned in this Western capitalistic society are very unfaithful, because we are taught to manipulate to get what we want out of a situation. So we say yes to something in order to pacify someone who we manipulating, in order to gain their trust, so we can execute shakar, falsehood. Catch him off guard. Oh, yeah, brother, I got you. Yeah, we gonna do this. Yeah, we for you, brother. And then when you turn the corner, they doing the very opposite of what they committed themselves to do. You don't answer to me. No, you answer to Yahuwah for the false vows that you make. So this teaching is teaching against false vows. Vows that you make that you know you have no intent to carry out. Understand that. So Yeshua is not teaching against anything in Torah. He's just being quite precise. Okay. False vows. Vows of falsehoods that you make in my name. Vows that you know you're not going to carry out. Pledges that you know in your heart. Don't nobody else know it. But you know you have no intent of doing what you said you were to do. You answer to Yahweh. This is the teachings of Yeshua HaMashiach, the Yeshua or the Messiah that I serve. Okay. I don't serve social science. Okay. No matter how pretty it sounds, no matter how much religious wings you put on it, you're not going to get me in no emotional fervor and then manipulate me in that emotional fervor to see light as darkness and darkness as light. I'm going line upon line, precept upon precept. I have no compromise in that. And as I continue to develop, and as you continue to develop, you must develop faithfulness, honesty, and honest faithfulness. That when you say, make a promise to someone, make that promise to fulfill it. Okay? And not to manipulate the person into a false trust of your word in order for you to destroy him. I've seen it happen so many times, especially within the church. This unfaithfulness, and then the excuses or the accusation that I didn't do it because of you. You're at fault why this didn't work. And it's reality, it is because you had no intent. You made a vow in his name with a false intent as the basis of that vow. These are the tricks to bring you into condemnation, to make you think that your trusting in their false promise was your fault. Okay? Been through it 100 times. It don't affect me no more. I'm not interested in your excuses. Did you do what you said you was going to do? Yes or no? Well, see, don't want to hear no excuses. Okay? Because I know, based upon the teachings of Yeshua, who understood the condition of a man's heart, who understood the intent that is covered over with whitewashed tombs. I respond to his teachings and his observation. And his observation is your excuse is irrelevant. You entered into this promise with shikar, a false intent. Okay? So we have to be faithful to carry out and to make shebahul, shebah, Beshemi li emit. To make a pledge and the promises that we make in truth. Okay? The promise that we make in his name in truth with the intent to fulfill it or to finish it to shalim. To complete the promise unto proper edification of good. See? And that's why it always says in the Proverbs that a person that just runs his mouth, oh yeah. Beware of that person. Beware of flatterers. People who just want to flatter you to get you in a position where they can use and control you. Okay? Making promises from the bestial mentality of the mind. Okay? And not promises from emet, truth, honesty. And once we understand that we have been culturated in a wicked society that manipulates instead of educating, that teaches you how to get what you want and not fulfill the will of the Father through an honest appropriation of his word to obtain the hope of glory, to attain the righteousness, the actuality of righteousness, then we'll step up a little bit. We won't have the problems that we have. The battle is won through righteousness, not through rhetoric. The battle is won through honesty, not through manipulation. The battle is won through faithfulness. Be faithful as he is faithful. Be righteous as he is righteous. Okay? And we must take these teachings and separate it from the religious entertainment that we have gone through in our lives. Feel good. Give Yah $1, he'll give you 10 back. Make a deal. Let's make a deal with Yahweh. Okay? It's entertainment type religion. And begin to do what he said. Seek ye in the book and read line upon line, precept upon precept. Pray without ceasing until there is a consciousness of the word within you working, and pursue righteousness to obtain it. Yeah, that's what Yeshua taught. But the social science religions teaches, well, you've been imputed righteousness. You're covered by the blood. Do what you want to do. He'll forgive you. You see? And it sounds good. Oh, you mean I don't have to fight sin? I don't have to live a life of self-denial? You know, I can continue on as long as I do it in a way that is socially acceptable to sin. Social acceptable sins. Okay? So you see a guy smoking a cigarette, oh, he's going to hell. But here you are gossiping and slandering, involved with all type of sexual perversive activities. Okay. But you going to heaven because you covered by the blood. Okay? So we have to be much more wiser than that. And I'm just going to do this verse today. I'm verse by verse, okay? To show what Yeshua is teaching. He's not teaching, he's teaching against making vows in his name to falsehood. And when you do that, you answer to Yahweh. Okay? He's the king. He's the sovereign. And then Yeshua said, and also I'm saying, okay, he's giving you an even higher level, okay, of appropriating this. Okay. Also I'm saying to you to not vow and pledge in any matter, not in heaven, for it is the throne of Elohim. Okay. Look, it is better that you not make a vow that you know you're not going to fulfill. Okay? Because you ain't sovereign over nothing, first of all. Oh, I can do it. You know, that prideful. Ain't nothing stop me. But we're not going to get into that. We're going to get into that next week. And we're going to get into verse 34 and 35. They go together. And we're going to do both those verses. Because a lot of people think that Yeshua changed the law. No, what he did was brought more enlightenment to it. Okay. Enlightenment to faithfulness. Being faithful. That your yes be yes and your no be no. Anything added to this is evil. Okay. So we can evaluate ourselves based upon the promises that we've made. Evaluate whether or not we're moving in evil, manipulative intent or honest intent to fulfill our word of yes or our word of no. No compromise. Once you say it, do it. If you say no, don't do it. And let it be because you have ascended into a consciousness of righteousness and respect for the righteousness of Yahweh. And not to be a people pleaser. Okay. To please others. So I'm going to say yes because I want to fit in. Okay. I'm going to make a vow. I'm going to gain the trust of this person. Because by gaining his trust, then I can, effect my erroneous intent to achieve something for myself. Okay. So we're going to end here, okay? And next week we'll go to 34 and 35. And I hope these studies are helping you to gain a better insight into the teachings of Yeshua HaMashiach, the Son of Elohim, and to help you to extract yourself from the social science religions of this world that in many cases are using his name or his identity as a means of tricking you into a false doctrine that is in accordance with the carnal mind, which is at enmity with his Torah. We want to be those who teach and fulfill the mitzvot, the commandments of righteousness, to produce an actuality of righteousness within us. This is our goal. This is what we seek to obtain. And I hope that you will take on and assimilate this goal as your goal in life. So we'll end here. Shalom Aleichem to everyone. Thank you for coming. And we hope that you'll continue to come. As I said, we're going to be leaving this city very soon. And the ministry will end in this city, but we will continue on our activities, whether there's one or whether there's 1,000 who respect what we do. We will continue to teach the word, and because, as Yahweh told me years ago, you are accountable to me. And so if Yah called me to teach prophetically, then I have to be faithful to that. So, but continue to come and procure from this ministry the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the word that Yah has given to us, and then appropriate it. We need righteousness. We need righteousness. Righteousness is the cure to our ills. Righteousness is the cure to our ills. Shalom Aleichem. I thank y'all for coming. Peace.